Look out, old Maggie's back.
We're here.
Elmwood Stock Farm. Good to be here. I see green everywhere. Now, what kind of job can you possibly have where you can reach down anywhere you are? Pea shoot.
Pea shoot. Tastes like peas, you know why? It is a pea.
That's delicious.
Absolutely. On a salad, there's nothing like it. So we can plant these, germinate them here in the greenhouse, and be ready to eat in like 7 or 8 days.
Wow. Now you have, I'll explain to people who don't know, what is the CSA?
CSA is Community Supported Agriculture. Customers pay us now in the beginning of the year. Then we have a contract with them to deliver whatever's seasonally available all summer. So they don't know what they're going to get. We don't know what they're going to get till the day before. But so we take all of this stuff and we'll deliver. We have drop-offs in Lexington, Frankfort, Cincinnati.
I wanted to see how this whole thing starts. Here we are in a greenhouse with kale and lettuce and what is this, parsley and
celery.
Celery.
Swiss chard.
This is where it all starts.
Lots of kale because we kale every week.
Kale's the magic food, isn't it?
It is.
You're in an interesting line of work, but anything that's interesting or fun usually involves a whole lot of labor. As we look at, I see cows coming in, I saw sheep, we saw turkeys. You know, it's not just about plants, you raise meat as well.
Right. Absolutely.
And everything's organic.
Everything's certified organic. There hasn't been a single Saturday at the farmer's market that a customer hasn't come to our booth and said, my doctor told me to eat the food that you grow, whether it's grass-fed beef or organic vegetables, because of whether it's toxins or whether it's antibiotics or the wrong kind of fat in meat. So we say, sure, it's hard to eat 100% organic 100% of the time, but if you do as best you can, then you can relax a little bit when you are at a restaurant and you just don't worry about it for a little bit.
We were talking about onion sets. These are not your typical onion sets. What does that mean when you're planting onions?
So we can't get onion sets, those nice little bulbs that you just can plant very easily. So we have to get organic seed. So someone individually flicked the little seeds into those trays for us to have onions, and they won't be ready when everybody else has spring onions. They'll still be in the greenhouse.
Wow.
But this fall, they'll be awesome.
Now, being in this line of work, I mean, we're surrounded by life. We're surrounded by tomatoes and everything. Everything's coming along wonderfully. I'm doing my own meat. I'm a carnivore, hardcore.
Right. Good for you.
And the cows have taken over my garden spot. So I'm going to do like some tomatoes and stuff like that. But you know what? I'm going to depend on you for my vegetables, and stores around that sell vegetables from folks like you, where we know where it came from.
Right.
So what's the chances of us getting a little tour today? Show us what's going on.
Let's go look.
I'm ready.
Go.
Let's go. Okay, so this is a seed room, a busy little room where it starts off over here with the dirt, then it slides towards you, then we see a tray.
Right.
Then what's in your hand there?
So this is a vacuum seeder. There's a little hole pattern that lines up with the holes in the cells of the tray. So you roll the seed around like a game, and when each one of these little holes has a seed vacuum stuck to the hole, the rest of the seeds fall down in this little tray. When you flip it over, break the vacuum, the seeds all drop down into the tray together, and then you can move it on to the next one.
And dead center, as opposed to being,
right.
Wow.
Right, so we can do, these normally the styrofoam are 2/48, and we can do 248 seeds as fast as you can get them to line up on the tray.
Wow. Then off to the germination room, which has moisture and
hot, moist heat, so that they all germinate at the same time. Then when they go to the greenhouse, the hot and cold pockets of the greenhouse, we get better uniformity if they all germinate than no matter where they go in the greenhouse. Because you like that uniformity when you're using a transplanter. If some are tall and some are short, some will get buried or some will be too tall and hang up in the equipment. So we like that uniformity when it's time to plant in the field.
Now, before we go to that back field back there, do these look familiar? These guys came from Moses and Maggie's.
With the dogs here, nothing gets in this whole field. They're going to patrol the whole field. I tell people they do a great job when they're awake.
When they're awake. And that's the old man over there.
Yeah.
Now, he's about 8, you say, 7 or 8?
Yeah. He kind of knows he's the changing of the guard here a little bit.
So he can chill a bit, relax.
Yeah.
see kale, and what else is out here?
Got lettuce, several kinds of kale, several kinds of lettuce. This is the early transplants that we got out. The weather's been kind to us this year. Big storm that brought this tree down. We got hail on the south part of the farm, but we didn't right here.
Wow.
So we just dodged a bullet right there. So we get these plants out, they've already gotten acclimated. The sun, the beautiful weather we're having today, they'll just jump in the next 2 weeks.
Now let's talk about something I found fascinating. You talked about, I see your cattle over here, and I asked you, what do you do if it's organic about fertilization? And you said?
We're on an 8-year crop rotation. So the field behind us here that we're laying the plastic, that's where the long feeder, it's been an alfalfa for 5 years. After 5 years, we plow it. The alfalfa is a legume that takes nitrogen from the air. It feeds the soil, feeds the plants. When we turn that under, it's called green manure. When we turn that under, then it feeds the microbes that then feed our plants. So the long feeders, the long season crops, tomato, pepper, cucumber, squash, those go in that field first year. Then come behind that with a cover crop. Then this is the second year field. This was tomatoes last year. So then these are lighter feeders. We're still on 38-inch rows, so there's plenty of soil for the roots to find the nutrients. Then behind these will come off in the summer. We can do it again in the fall. So we get 2 crops off of this field. Then after this, we do the overwinter garlic, then the peas, the beans, the other legumes, and other light feeders that'll fill the 3rd year of vegetables, then back to 5 years of alfalfa. So we don't have to bring fertility off farm to produce the crops.
Wow. Sounds like a fairly complicated thing, but it's so well, natural.
It's the culture that built this part of the world. It's what old timers did.
Right.
You would not
because they didn't have synthetic.
They didn't have synthetic fertilizer.
Wow.
So this is what they did. So it's the best of the old, and then we do have the new technologies like the plastic for weed control, moisture control, and fancy planters and all kinds of things. So it's a real combination between old and new.
So the bugs, what do you do about the bugs? They get some, you get some?
So no. When you have the healthy balance of soil, it's just like a healthy person. If they scratch themselves, they don't get sick or have a problem. They heal over. So a healthy plant is resistant to the bugs in the first place. By also having the diversity that we have, there's thousands of species of beneficial insects. By never spraying any pesticides, the beneficial insects still outnumber the pests.
Wow.
And that's a whole nother segment we could do, but there's wasps that are so tiny that you would call them a gnat, and they're even smaller than a gnat. But they lay their egg in the aphid. When the egg hatches, the larvae eats the guts of the aphid and hops out and goes to make new ones, kills the aphid.
So you're having your work done for you.
Absolutely, it's like National Geographic out here.
You know, we've talked about the cows, we talked about the sheep, we got to talk about the chickens, so with chickens comes eggs.
Right.
So I suppose that's all part of the process here too. If people wanted grass-fed beef or chickens or turkey, it's all natural.
Absolutely.
Right here.
Everything's certified organic. The feed is non-GMO, no pesticides in the feed for the chickens. They're out on pasture.
So I think people are finding out about these things and finding out little by little. They want to know where their food's coming from. I know where mine's coming from.
Right.
Part of it's right here.
Right.
And I want to thank you.
Thank you.
For the hard work that you do.
Appreciate it.
To make sure this stuff happens.
Appreciate it.
I can't wait to get my first bag.
There you go.
Thank you, Mike.